I stream the cat game one time, and you're not gonna let that go, right? I guess I'm now cat lady forever. Hello, 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 hello. So where was I last time? I have no idea. Welcome back to another episode of GTNH. How's everybody doing? Just one game of that eugenic stuff. In and out. I'm now permanently a cat lady. It totally makes sense. I was playing it like 2 more hours today. It's such a fun game. Yes, I'm late as well. I actually just came back from a walk, and I forgot to fix up the stream again for GTNH instead of eugenics. So it took me a little while to get started. But hello, we're back. So where was I last episode or last time I did this? I have no idea. That's right. I was doing the compact fusion off camera. We have the controller and half of the casings here. And the other half is actively crafting right now, but man, this is so slow. So yeah, I'm going to cancel that. We'll leave it for next time. I honestly don't remember what I did last episode. I can't tell you. It was, when did I last stream? Friday? It's been a while. So I'm not even going to pretend to know what I did last episode. We're just going to continue. There's a couple of problems I want to address. The first one being this problem over here. So that's right. One of the things I did off camera was I did have to upgrade the ore munchers. Because if you guys remember, if we go to the deep dark, flashbang, watch out. You can see it on the camera too, right? It kind of like gets all bright. If you guys remember from the deep dark, we set up all these void miners, and we had a little bit of trouble processing everything. So one of the things I did off camera, I think this was on Sunday, I added wireless energy hatches, a bunch of them, 8 of them. These are all UEV, to a bunch of ore processors, which it did work, but then we have another issue. So this was working just fine yesterday, and then I logged in and it's not working because you're gonna laugh at me. We're out of lubricant. So I have to set up lubricant somewhere down the road. But I think this setup right here is totally okay with the number of void miners we have, assuming we have lubricant, which I don't. Yeah, we have an entire 1. So that's one of the things I'm gonna deal with. I think today's main goal is to set up the pseudostable black hole. And I would like to do this so that I can get access to eternal singularities, make them a lot cheaper, and then work towards the, what do you call it, the eternal coils? Yeah, these guys. I would like to get these, upgrade the DTPF, all 4 of them. But we need the pseudostable black hole, whatever you call this. Yeah, okay. That's why I named the stream title like that, because I have no idea what this is called. And I think we have everything for it. We have the Hawking radiation, whatever. A background radiation absorbing casing. These are like weird words. I have all of those. I have the Hawking whatever. And these guys. These guys took a while. And another thing I did off camera. So what I showed on camera, from what I remember, this stuff takes a lot of materials to craft, right? So I had to fix up some of the recipes so that it doesn't break. Specifically iron. I am now pumping the iron. Because before it was transforming every single iron from dust, and that was just extra steps. But if I have the fluid, as well as copper, we can get iron directly. And I'm also crafting the cosmic neutronium, or no, the bedrockium, because you can also do that in the DTPF. So that's how I'm making it. That's pretty much all I did off camera. It was just a bunch of maintenance, I guess. Yeah, we're pumping iron. Yeah, we're getting swole. So this monstrosity of a multi-block is the goal for today. I don't know how to set it up, and it has a little gimmick to it that we're gonna have to figure out ourselves. Where the heck is the controller? I don't know where the controller is. We'll get into the gimmick whenever we get to that point. If I can even find the controller. Is it on the middle? Where's the controller? In the bottom? Okay, one way to find the controller is just place it down and right click it. It's on the base of the center, it looks like. I also got some a funny story to talk about today while I was on the topic, because I did come back from a walk. And I'll talk a little bit about it if I can find the controller. I have no idea where it is. Nope. Where the heck is the controller? I'm so confused. Oh man, where is this dude? It's right there. But why doesn't it look like it in the NEI preview? It should be right in one of these. It's right there. Okay, I'm just blind. All right. So wherever it's going to end up, I'm not too sure. We're going to have to play test it. Where am I going to put this guy? Because he's actually kind of large. I heard an explosion. Is that Thumbcraft? They don't be causing explosions near me. Oh, at some point I forgot about it. These ass lines have to move all the recipes over to the bulk ass lines that I set up a couple episodes ago. This doesn't need to be here anymore. I'll do it off camera though. It's a little tedious, and I prefer to do all the tedious stuff off camera. So, do you think I can put it right here? Might be able to. How much space is it though? I guess a little bit of a story time while I set this up while I'm talking about it. So I went into a walk today, right? Again, at Purgatory Creek. I like that place. I ended up walking 4 miles. Speaking of pumping iron, I would say it's a pretty good achievement because I usually don't walk that much. Kind of proud of myself, but my feet aren't. I'm pretty tired. But some like halfway into the actual trail, I was just peacefully walking down the trail, right? And in the distance, I hear some dude like fall. He fell pretty bad. He was a biker, and this guy was hauling ass on a rock. And the trail is pretty rocky, so I don't know. The thing's pretty huge, actually. So I don't know what he was thinking. It's not a very safe trail for biking, even though you're totally allowed to bike, right? But I wouldn't bike. It's very rocky. And heck, it's kind of like unsafe to walk. I don't want to put it here. I'm never here. But the poor guy, he absolutely fell down. We'll put it right here. And I was gonna like check on him, but the dude, he was a little farther ahead of me. And well, I was gonna ask him if he was okay, but I don't want to sound mean, but I feel like he kind of deserved it because not even 5 seconds later, he gets up and he starts speeding past me. And I'm like, all right, I guess. So I'm like, you know what? He kind of deserved it. If you're just speeding up like that. And the trail is like, it's pretty vertical at some point. In the early parts of the trail, it's pretty flat. But as you move forward, where am I going to put this thing, man? I can't have no space for it. I know this thing's huge. But as you walk down the trail, let's say about 30 minutes, it gets pretty bumpy. I guess we're going to put it behind the elevator. The space elevator itself is not very cheap. I mean, it's not very expensive, so yeah, we just put it over here. But I don't know if the DTPF can deal with it, or if I just put it like literally wherever. We'll see. No, but this guy was speeding. And I was also at a point where like there's like no space. So it's very easy to hit someone or run into someone. But like I'm also not oblivious, so I had to, like I noticed he was coming closer, so I stepped out of the way. But it was pretty funny because in the distance I just heard him. He felt pretty bad too. And I guess, you know, in his defense, he was probably going fast just to hide an embarrassment, right? I don't think he knows that I noticed it either. Because it also like behind some trees. 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a little bit of a story time of what I noticed today. Other than that, it was a pretty good day. Walked a whole bunch. That trail is it's quite large. I must have walked at least 30 or 40 miles on it so far, and I'm not even halfway done with it. There's just so much more. But slowly but surely I'm conquering it. I did make it to P13. Yes, I'm going to be careful. So hello. By the way, I don't know if I said hello. Sorry about the YouTube chat. There's a huge delay, so I might not see the messages sometimes. I did make it to P13. Any Dead Frontier fans would know about P13. So I talked about it before, but the park is called Purgatory Creek, right? And a lot of the trails have references to Dante's Inferno. One of the trails is literally called Dante, and that's the longest one because that one is 4.21 miles. And it's not round trip, it's one way. So if you want to conquer all of Dante's trail, that is an 8 hour, or not 8 hours, it's about 8.5 miles. My pace is about 2 miles an hour. So that'll take me, what, 4, 5 hours to conquer the whole thing in one day? Nah, not happening. I don't know if this is like the correct vertical placement for it, so I'm just going to try it. One, two. Let's bring it down 2 more blocks, I think. Oh, what was I saying? So one of the trails, like those little trail markers, because most trails have a trail marker that tells you kind of like where you are. One of the trail markers or one of the trails is called Paraíso, which I think is that paradise? I gotta look it up actually. Paraíso meaning is Spanish and Portuguese word meaning paradise. Yes. So one of the trails is called Paraíso or paradise, and the trail markers are called like the first letter of that trail plus a number. And so yes, and I totally went down the P trail just for that picture because I wanted to show off to my Dead Frontier friends. Look, I made it. 1, 2, 2 this way. Poor guy though. Is that? Oh no, one left. One left. World's longest black hole containment field setup ever. Is that it? Yeah. Funny enough, I actually need 2 of them. Because I need one of them to make my eternal singularities. One of them to do this, and at some point I would like these UIV casings, but the super dense transcendent metal plates also need a black hole. So if I want to automate it, I have to have more than one. I can still switch like the settings, but you can't do both in one automatically. You have to manually switch it. So at some point I need at least one more, but we get to that. I think at this point I can just upgrade it. Is there any other kind of upgrades though? No, I'll just place it. Yeah. And on the way back, I treated myself to Bill Miller's. I don't know if Bill Miller's is a nationwide thing. I know it's like in a lot of Texas, but I don't think it's nationwide. It's this barbecue place if you haven't heard about it. And they got some pretty good tea. And speaking of which, I'm going to drink some tea because I have some left over. Not just leftovers, like the whole thing. Yeah. That's pretty good stuff. Okay, so this guy's ready, but I need to put casings in a certain spot. And I'm not too sure where. Input hatch. Input hatch. So I think how this is going to be a little weird. There's a trick to this. It's not just one of those machines where you put stuff in there and stuff comes out. It's a weird one. You have to have some kind of setup for it. And it revolves around black hole seeds. It requires one of these things called black hole seeds to operate. I should probably honestly set up recipes for this as well. I'm going to need one for the black hole seed and the collapser. Put in the space, or I might as well just make 16, right? Is that expensive? We'll do 16. Because that's how many parallels that the space assembler has. I don't like that. Did something get stuck or what? I'm always scared that this is going to get stuck. But so far it hasn't happened. Let me see the Dyson Swarm stuff because I'm trying to see if make sure that I can craft it. Yeah, okay. And then we'll just put this in a space assembler. Space ass, if you will. So it revolves around these black hole seeds, and how it works, I think, from what I understand, is that you put a black hole seed in to open the black hole, whatever that means. It begins its life at 100 stability and slowly decays every 1 per second. So if I don't do anything special, it'll last 100 seconds. And then there's a whole bunch of information about parallels and whatever. And honestly, I think I'm just for now going to have it do the 100 per second thing and then just eat the parallel loss. And I also need to be able to close it. And it looks like at some point you have the super stable black hole seed, but there's no recipe for that. Oh, you're gonna be missing the quadrigates, of course. Yeah, you're always gonna be doing that. And it's a little pricey though. Which probably convinces me to work on automating the chemical bath, setting this up so that it gets mass produced just like we have the fluid solidifiers and the mixers. So do something like that, but with the chemical bath. I think that's what I want to do. And I also did prepare a bunch of wireless energy hatches as well, wherever they are. Yeah, 168, a decent amount. So what's a machine that takes absolutely forever? It's a bending machine. It's not even the hot. It's basically everything that I have to adjust, right? But A vending machine, absolutely. My settings even on? Let me check. Yeah. Advanced alloy plate. Yeah, we have to modify the vending machine because this guy's not doing anything. I mean, he is, but if I have like a lot more vending machines, that'd be so cool. So how many can I spam? I think I'm just gonna upgrade to 2 or by 4. I should be able to put every single pattern there. Let's try it. Because we need vending machines. Color purple, I don't want you to. Or I want you to stack. There you go. We already have 4. And then material press casings. Okay, I guess we'll try building a template 1 and then adding everything else to it. So vending machines, because I really only need an item output, I think this guy's going to take up a lot of space going back. Probably as much as the mixer, so I'll probably just put it over. We'll put them over here. It doesn't really matter. So what I want is each one to have 8 wireless hatches, just like the other ones. We'll put them on the front. There we go. On the top, we'll have the maintenance hatch somewhere. Do you need a muffler? Yes, you do. So you need a muffler, put you in the middle because I can. And a maintenance hatch. Like that. And then an output bus on the side. Like that. Okay. So I don't really know how many inputs I can add to this thing. I think I just want to copy whatever's in here. And we have 1, 2, 3. It might be easier to count from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I no idea how I'm gonna fit 13 crafting inputs to this one machine. We can use a bunch of buffers here, and we'll plan for 13. How the heck am I gonna do that? That's a good question. Can probably start from here. Let's start from the side. It's not a very good spot though. Because one thing to keep in mind is the output bus is going to get mirrored on the other side of the machine, so don't put it there. Well, this is already 9, right? And then 10, 11, 12, 13. That would probably work. It's not okay. I don't have enough. I don't have enough machine space. So that's another flaw of these machines. You have to have a minimum of casings so that it's considered a machine. And right now it does not have enough casings. It only has like 1. Yeah, it just doesn't have enough casings. I think I added too many energy hatches. So it looks like there's going to be 2 groups of vending machines so that I can fit enough. Like, what do you call it? Enough recipes or enough crafting buffers. So how can I figure that out? I just have to break it until it lets me build the structure. Oh, or is it because it was missing a maintenance hatch? Hang on. No, it's because it just has too many inputs to that. Okay, that works. But what about you? That might as well max it out first. That works. If I put you, that does not work. Okay. So it looks like 8 is the answer. If I want that many energy hatches, and I do, because that's going to speed it up by like 4 times or something. We might as well do that to go like real crazy with it. So this is going to be one group of vending machines. And then we have space 1, 2, 3 to mirror that one. Space 1, 2, 3 to mirror the other one, the other group. Oops. I'm gonna need to craft so many energy hatches for this. I batch craft 100 at the end of every episode, or whenever like I mess around off camera. But every time I do this, I use so many energy hatches. All right, and then we have an output bus. And then yes. Okay. And then the other group of hatches here. We'll do this. Crafting input buffers just like that. And there we go. At some point, I also want to do the same with forming presses. So what's going to happen is I'm going to duplicate it again. It's going to be a whole bunch of pink things over here in the corner next to my very special quantum computer, right? Speaking of quantum computing, I'm almost done. I'm on the second to last episode of Dark, and man, it's a little confusing. I'm going to be honest. You need like a real wrinkled brain to understand that show. It's one of those shows that I feel like I'm gonna have to look up like what did you talk about off camera, like watch a whole, I don't know, read the cliff notes on it or something. It's a pretty interesting show though. What was I doing? Oh yeah. I need to set up basically copy this man. Mark copy and duplicate it to its side. Put it right here. But I have to move the output bus on the other side. Like that. Put the corresponding casing right here. And each of these dudes has to be a proxy instead of a buffer. And I'm running low on proxies. At least the black hole seeds and collapser did finish, right? Did I also craft the collapser? Yeah, we have enough for to start us to get us going. Let's make a bunch of proxies. It might be expensive. Oh no, you're missing lubricant. It doesn't look too bad. Okay. Each one of these has to be replaced with the proxy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It was 13 inputs, right? And you're built? Yes, you are. Okay. And then I will go ahead and bring a wireless connector. Just a very basic one. And I guess while I'm here, let's go ahead and copy the other side because it's going to be the same idea. So this one has to move over here. Swap the outputs, so that is basically just a single line for the wireless connector. This one has to be a regular casing, and then you get replaced with proxies. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Why does lubricant take so long to craft? I never thought I'd say that, but I could have sworn I had something in the distillation tower to do it. Or are you being made somewhere else? You might be being made somewhere else, actually. No, you're being made right here. Do you not fit enough output? No, you should. That's like 8 billion. How much other stuff do you have in here that you have to deal with? And guys, I made a mistake. There's no circuit in here. Oh, there's 49 million lubricant. I forgot to put a circuit. It's my bad. I totally deserve that. Okay. So yeah, I wasn't actually crafting any lubricant. That's funny. Wait for the proxies though. So I need a bunch of wireless connectors. Let's get 2 more. Put one right there and right there. And then I'll get the queuing mode. Do you and you. Also paint them white after they get connected. I'll go ahead and connect them, one there and one there. And there we go. Mm-hmm. And the whole idea here is that you have a dense cable going out and you're going to be a white cable so that you actually connect to the thing. I'm not going to add more than this. I think what I should really do is actually commit. Well, I should commit to it, but it takes a lot of wireless hatches and proxies, so I might not have enough. And so the idea here is that I'm going to have, so each controller face can deal with 32 channels, right? So I'm going to have a group of 16 machines that goes down on either side. 16 times 2, 32. That's the whole idea. And all these other machines are the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I need to have a whole group of machines. This one is going to have 8 machines because it has 2 outputs, but yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay, so next step is, I believe it's already good to go. I just need to put the patterns in there. I also have to connect you to the main net. So that is more wireless connectors. We'll do it like that. So put one there and then put one there. Queuing mode activated. Choose you. And then put that in the main network. It can be wherever. There's a whole bunch of stuff here that's not connected and I have no idea why. I'm not gonna complain. I'm just going to. Why am I missing so many connections? I think I broke a lot of the stuff. I do recall doing a lot of cleanup, so that's probably what happened. I was removing a bunch of connections that didn't really need to exist anymore. So we'll take advantage of whatever's there. So use you and you. You ever use the wire snips to connect AE buses? Is that a thing? I had no idea. Connect AE buses. So like, let's say a storage bus. Are you about to teach me something that could have been very useful this time? This entire time. Am I missing something? These are wire snips, right? I'm not sure what you mean by use wire snips to connect AE buses. Also, my neighbor is going crazy at it again. I don't know what he plays, but it's got something to do with getting set on fire because he was screaming that earlier. No, I'm not too sure what you're referring to, by the way. Are you saying that I can connect? Oh, this is what you mean, right? I'm a little nervous about this because of how um AE2 channel looping works. We saw an issue like this before. Maybe I can arrange my controllers to follow like that. But we've had an issue before where, for example, we have this weird setup going, right? I had these ME chests over here, and because they were all connected to each other, it was actually not working correctly. We were missing three like connections over here, so I had to separate them. I'm not too comfortable with doing it like that. It'll probably work, but I'm a little nervous. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe in this case, it's okay. In this case, it's okay because there's only 8 channels, but I feel like it's a laggy thing about AE2 where you have to. My nose is a little itchy, by the way. I'm curious if someone does like some kind of TPS. Like this might just be an issue with TPS down the road. If I start spamming the heck out of this stuff, is it going to cause TPS? I don't know. I'm curious if someone else has looked into that, but that's actually a really good point. I didn't realize you can do that. Yes, but in this case, it's not really urgent to save space because they're all one space apart from each other, anyways. But I didn't realize. I didn't even know you can do that. So thanks for that. I think what I would do next time is actually arrange the buffers, or like the buffers, so that they're a straight line instead of grouped like that. We'll try it for the next group of machines. How about that? So that it does a ring around the rosy, and then I space it out, and then I do another ring. That'll probably end up being better. Yeah, I didn't realize you can do that. Thanks for that. We'll try it out next time. But this one's already built, so we'll do that. But yeah, I'm also curious if there's like any TPS concerns if you have him looping around like that and duplicating a whole bunch. Soy Cake uses it all the time. And it's so cool whenever you're like, even in the late game, you can still learn so much stuff. Um, What was I doing next? I need to save this the setup here. I honestly also I I'm not ashamed to say it either. I like the rib cage look. I think I like it. It looks cool. We'll try it for next time. How about that? I'm just a little nervous about looping, especially if I'm going to have a whole bunch of things. In some cases, though, it's not a good idea, though. I will add to that, though. For example, right here, I can't do that here because if they all connect to each other, then that's going to break the setup. But for setups like this, yeah, I totally could just extend it up as many times because every single casing here can be used as a input. So I can totally just do that. We'll try it out for next time. What was I doing? I forgot. Bending machine, yes. What kind of nonsense am I going to need? I need a bending 1. Tell you what. Let's go back over here and then start renaming things. But I'm going to use the interface terminal as that's a guide. So we have bending 1. We have 4 bending 1s. It's actually just mostly bending 1. 2 bending 2s, and that's basically it. And 2 bending 9s. Okay. So we'll do bending 1 first. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't say you were surprised. I was going to name all of this like this anyways. I'm bending it 1. And then we have a bending 2 bending 10s for the foils. And then we have 2 bending 2s. Look at that. It even works out pretty well. And then I have a bending 3. Bending 4. A bending 5 for a single recipe that for some reason I need for I don't even know what. Bending 5 and then oops. 2 bending 9s. Not 98. Like that. And then get my data stick. How do I do this? It's left click and then paste, right? Yeah. How do you do this in creative mode without breaking the buses? Right there. Okay. Put this away as well. And then I have, that should be everything. And then I just need to bring the recipes on over. So can I just do that from here? How annoying is it? I can't drag. So yeah, we're doing it by hand. Take my compressed chest. Do I have any patterns in storage just in case I mess things up? No, I don't. They're over here. Before I royally mess everything up, disconnected from AE2. You're also using those, so break it here. I'm surprised my server didn't explode because it always does that whenever I disconnect stuff. So anything to do with bending 1, go ahead and get it out of here. It's almost time for Bernie to play a great game. You're just waiting for Terraria. I haven't finished the piano stream. I will actually play Terraria whenever I finish the piano stream. I just haven't been able to. Or I should say I just haven't given myself enough time to finish it up. I'm like 6 minutes in. It sounds like a little bit, but it takes a while. And it's also just me getting comfortable with script writing because I've never done it before. It's something new that I'm trying. I refuse to do AI scripts. Even though I do realize it would save me so much time. No. Whatever you get is entirely from my head. I will admit it though. Kayler has been talking about it in the other Discord, in the Dead Frontier Discord, the clan Discord that we have. There's a little just a little bit of interest growing in that game. I can't deny it. Especially when you guys talking about like mastery mode or whatever it is. Or Zenith, I think it was Kayler. Someone said Zenith mode on the Restless Club Discord. Who said it? Someone said Zenith mode. It was Besa. Okay. Don't do Zenith. That makes me want to do it. You already got me playing the game. I'm gonna make it as hard as possible. Might as well. Nah, I won't. I mean, if you want. Yeah, whenever I play a game, I'm the kind of sicko that plays the hardest, like one of the harder difficulties, the hardest. Just full send it. But you guys agree that I would do expert, or I should do expert. What's the difference between expert and like a normal, I guess a normal difficulty? You also mentioned secret seeds. What does that mean? Is it just like how it sounds? Like some seeds have secret or like set seeds. I think Minecraft also has a couple of set seeds. Oh, they have special effects. I'm pretty sure Minecraft has something like that. It's a weird rabbit hole to get into. I don't want the hardest difficulty. I just want to enjoy myself. I'll probably end up doing expert. It sounds artificial though, so I'll do expert. Artificial as in you have to do extra legwork to like get it set up instead of just clicking a button. It's stupidly hard and you die in seconds. So like Arrowcraft, but Terraria. I'm gonna compare every difficulty to Arrowcraft. There's a difference between a challenging game and a hard tedium. Arrowcraft, I'm sorry, is hard tedium. Something that's difficult, Darkest Dungeon. And to some extent, Mutagenics. Man, I that Mutagenics run that I was doing yesterday, if you guys remember, I did end up like beating that run. I went all the way to the end of caves. But my party, 2 of my cats died. I was so sad. Like they totally died too, because in that game, one of the mechanics is that if you get downed in a fight, your cat stays alive if you beat the round. But the boss, I'm gonna spoil it. It was a giant spider, which releases more spiders, and they infest your cats. And if a cat gets downed, it straight up dies. So I lost my cats, and I was so sad. I lost 2 of them, and then like I was able to beat the round just barely, and I had to bail. Poor cats. I need a bending 10. There's 2 bending 10s. It's a pretty fun game though. I'm gonna keep talking about Mugenics because it's been a while since I've actually played a new game. I'm usually not someone who plays new stuff. As you can see, I've been playing GTNH for like 2 years. My bending 10 recipes go right over here. And you go like this. And you go right here. No, but if I say like I'm not too much of a game critic, but if I can play a game for more than 10 minutes, it's game of the year already. I'm just saying. That's a forming press. I'm not messing with that. I'm doing bending. Might as well just do bending 9 while I'm here. I was like, what did I pick up? It was a feather. We have a chicken roaming around. It's very dangerous for you to be walking around here, but we have a chicken somewhere. Allie dropped a couple eggs the last time she joined. And hatched the chicken. I don't know where the chicken is, but it's around here somewhere. Bending 9 is in the other machine, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Do I actually have Terraria already? I don't know why, but I think I bought it a long time ago and I never actually played it. There's at least one game in my Steam library that has happened where I buy it and then I just never play it. I'm checking my library. Yeah, no, never mind. I'm thinking of another game. I'm pretty sure there's a game that I bought and I never actually played it. Fallout 76, I played it for 2 hours actually. That's it. Battlefield 2042, I did not. Did I play? I did play it 3 hours only though. Cell to Singularity. This is the one. Cell to Singularity. It was actually before I got into Antimatter Dimensions because I was looking for like some kind of idle game. I saw Cell to Singularity and then I saw Antimatter Dimensions. I have not played Cell to Singularity yet. If you don't know about it, it's okay. I don't either. No. No, I haven't. I also saw Melfor on the list. I didn't want to bring it up because you were here, but you brought it up. No, I didn't get too far from it. There's a ton of content, but I don't know. I guess I honestly, I think I just forgot about it. It's not a bad game, though. It's actually a good one. I know a lot of people do that. But at least you're not one of those sickos that buys a game and then beats it, like plays it so fast that you beat the game before the refund timer stops you, so that you can just play the game for free. Oh, that's what Tmod Loader is. I've seen people play Tmod Loader, and I never really knew what it was. Is it like a CurseForge equivalent of Terrarium? I'm guessing. Okay. No, it's a forming press. Don't break the forming press. Bending 3. Okay. Bending 3 is, I'm bending it right here. At least 1 hour. No, but I'll make a post about it whenever I actually do get to playing the game. And priority right now is still to finish the piano stream. When is that going to happen? Honestly, I have no idea. I'm going to keep finding some excuse to delay it even further. Okay, that should be all the patterns. Next step is to actually set the circuits before I forget, because I actually almost forgot. Bending 1. Yeah, there's already stuff in here that's trying to craft. How many hours did you have, Killer? You can't just ask someone how many hours and not share. Sounds rude, but sorry. I have 0 hours in Terraria. Okay, I think at this point it should be good to go. So we should have a pretty big increase in our bending machine capabilities. And just for good measure, I'm going to tear down the old one. This poor skeleton of a bending machine. You have done great service. I appreciate it greatly. But it is time for you to retire. And by retire, I mean you're going to get shoved in one of those setups over there at some point. Forming press, you're not safe either. You're going to get moved at some point. If I complain about another bottleneck. Anyway, speaking of bottlenecks. Okay. Maybe I should plan for like one episode, one machine setup. I did say chemical bath, but right now it's we did the bending machine was a priority. I'm not going to do this machine spam on too much on camera. We'll aim for like one a day or something. Okay. Main goal is to get the black hole guy working. And I don't really know how this is going to actually do it. So I don't think I should use a crafting input buffer for this. This actually reminds me of something I want to try. So I'm going to try it. It involves the oil cracker. Because the oil cracker is one of those machines that needs inputs in specific spots, right? So am I able to use proxies to control stuff going into this? For example, this one needs steam for... Yeah, because I have this weird little setup here. Oil cracker 3 that does my severely steam cracked naphtha, right? I'm curious if I can just use a buffer instead, but use a proxy on over here so that it also has a steam. If anyone can confirm it doesn't work, please let me know so I don't have to do this, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to drink some tea first. Also, posture check. I just realized that I've been slouching the whole time. Sit up straight. This is mostly just for science. So the idea here is to have a connection here. And a proxy connecting to that one over here. I don't know if this works, but if it does work, maybe I can set up a weird automation for the black hole thing, because it's also a machine that needs inputs and in specific spots. Unless you straight up just don't allow. And let me check the oil cracker. You might not even allow proxies. Yeah, you straight up just might not even allow proxies. Let me take this out and then put like a proxy right here. Will that work? Let me take you out and put a regular casing. Maybe it only allows one. Guys, I don't think it works. Okay. That just confirms it. Maybe it's because it's also considered an item input bus, and it doesn't really ask for an item one. That's probably what's going on. And this is Steam, right? I can just replace this with an advanced stocking hatch. What am I doing? Where's my bookmarks? My bookmarks, it disappeared. How do I get my bookmarks back? It's B, isn't it? Where are my bookmarks? It's B. I'm pretty sure it's B. Hang on, I gotta see it. Oh, come on. Night vision enabled. Is it not B? Hang on. Oh, you don't let me. Is there no space in? I could have sworn it was B. I was searching for stocking bus, right? It's O, okay. B is bookmarks, but it was a brain fart. O is the whole thing. Okay, anyways. I'm looking for advanced stocking input hatch. I might as well do that here. I don't know if it's gonna really matter, but there you go. Okay, confirmed. You can't use buffers if it's a fluid only thing. But what about proxies? Link with crafting input buffer / bus using data stick to share inventory. Okay, it looks like specific things just won't work. That's fine. We still have to set up a little something for this though. So I think you're going to have a advanced stocking input hatch. We'll go right there. So this one is going to have space time. And then you're probably going to be connected to a one of these stocking, what do you call it? Super stocking? Stalker? Super something, what's it called? I have one over here. I have a bunch of them. Super stock replenisher, that's what it's called. There we go. This one is going to have probably space time. You may not even need it though, because I think I'm going to do recipes based on the 100 stability. So enough stability so that it crafts a bunch of the I'm not sure. It's gonna be a little weird setup, I think. We may also need to get into logic circuits again for a timer so that I can stop the machine whenever it doesn't have a black hole. I think we're gonna have to do that. Yeah. Okay. It's gonna be a really interesting setup, I think. Okay, so where did the items go? I think the items can go anywhere. They might be able to go on the inside. Yeah, you can totally put items on the inside. So probably over here is where I'll have the items. Oh, that's cool. So I need a item input. Well, this one is only going to be used for, what do you call it? Eternal singularities. Let me see the neutronium compressor recipe set up here. At some point, though, cryptic singularity. Can I already make this? Okay, yeah, okay, we're just gonna use item inputs as well. You and then a stocking and stocking hatch right there. Right here, right there. Turn those to enable. And then you are also going to have a stocking input hatch. I don't know about pull though. Probably will, but connected to a different system, I think. But I'm not going to worry about the stability right now. It's going to be a little simple setup, I think. Does it not work? Where's the controller? I found it once and I'll find it again. It's right there. It does not like it. Okay. So I guess I put the items up top. No, where do you like the items? No, you don't like them. Oh, it's any of the background absorption, radiation, whatever casings. It's any of the white ones, in other words. So I guess you'll go right here. Yeah, okay, there it is. Okay. Do you need a maintenance hatch? No, you don't. Energy hatch, any radiation absorbing casing, so you're going to have. You guys already know you're going to. Actually, can I even do the recipe? What kind of tier of power do I need? I need UMV power. To restore stability and reset space-time costs. It supports. Okay, we're going to use lasers. Actually, can I? Recipe tiers limited to hatch tier +1. Okay, so I need to get a UIV laser. Maybe I'll get that working right now, actually. We'll do one of these. I had this for some reason. I don't remember. It was for the ass machines. That's right. I'll craft them later. But this is going to be for the black hole now. Go ahead and do the border like I always do. Yeah, okay. Now, it said the laser hatches is on any radiation absorbent casing. I'll put it right here. Laser target hatch. Enjoy. And you should be allowed to step up to the next tier using that. And then I can probably just connect to that man over there. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do it later, though. The automation is going to be the fun challenge, though. So here's the... You know what? Yeah, let's get it connected right now, actually. I want to try some things out. What I wanted to try out is... Oh, come on. Oh, I got it. Okay. I wanted to see what happens when I put a black hole seed. Does it process while the recipes are running or not? Based on the description, I'm pretty sure it implies that yes, it runs while the machine is off as well. And if that's the case, then I can't just stock black hole seeds. UIV is blue. UIV 256 laser source hatch. Yes. It's powered right now. The chicken is around here somewhere. I'm getting the feathers again. UIV 256 target. Yes. Where's the chicken? He's got to be at the space elevator. Just want to know where he is. Yeah, we have a chicken running around the base. Okay. So we have this. What happens, or where do I even put the seed, first of all? Is it also a specific hatch that you have to put the seed? Is it in the controller? Yeah, totally legit that I have an entire black hole in my hand. Machine is inactive. If I give a seed, is it on input? So what happens if I give it a stocking bus? I don't know if that's a good idea. So I think how the setup is gonna go. I don't know if I can connect to both of them, but I mean, I totally can. I can just do it up here. I'll leave all the seed automation up here, I guess. Maybe just give this like a ULV input bus. Because it looks like it doesn't really accept the seed right there. And I'm not sure if I trust giving another seed in the stocking bus. It's probably asking for problems. Do you accept it there? Oh, stability 97%. Oh, oh man, I want to touch it. Am I gonna touch it? Okay, it doesn't kill me. Oh, that's weird. You just have a black hole casually sitting here. I don't think it explodes, right? And so there's the stability. So there's like a whole gimmick to this. You have to keep the stability as well above 50%, or not 50%, but well, I guess it's technically 50% if you think about it, because it starts at 100, right? If you want the most parallels. So if you have the stability below that, you just lose parallels. That's really it. So the real min max way is to keep the thing above 50 and have some kind of system that turns it on and off. But it's clear that it does delete stability. But what happens if I power it off? Stability still goes down. So in other words, that machine is not going to, it's going to constantly consume the black hole, even if I have it off. And it's becoming unstable, I can tell, because it got dark. Now I want to see what happens when it gets unstable. It says it eventually closes itself, but that's what these black hole collapsers are for. So the other question is, when does it close? When does it close itself? Black hole unstable. Uh-huh. This thing's gonna explode, right? I can throw a collapser in there and it collapses it. Okay. Yeah, okay. So yeah, there's an automation trick that you have to do. Also, that's the wrong kind of input bus. I meant to put ULV. So one thing I can use is a black hole utility hatch to pretty much like preemptively guess how much time I have until the thing shuts down. And I guess I'll put the circuit over here. Or maybe even here. Well, how big is the circuit going to be on it? We're going to have to get into Project Red again, I think, to keep it compact. Which I'm totally okay with because I like Project Red. Okay, put away this guy. This one is, I'm quaking it, misspelled because I'm dumb. But let's put it here. Okay, and take this stuff and we're gonna go play around with circuits again. What am I gonna call this? I don't think it really needs to be that big of a thing because it's just a simple timer. and some kind of latch. That's really all I can think of what it is. What do I call it? I would usually do like the trend I've been doing it before, but I'm black holing it doesn't sound very good. So we'll just call it black hole. So there only needs to be one output, which tells this thing, hey, shut off, right? We also need a kind of clock. A counter, actually. There's going to be a counter here. Where's the counters? Right here. Because the black hole utility hatch does multiple things, and I guess I'll put it. Where's a good spot for it, actually? I can probably, I'll just probably put it right over here, I guess. Put it right here. Yeah. So the black hole utility hatch does multiple things in either static mode or pulse mode. Let me see here. So pulse mode or static mode is emit a constant redstone signal when a black hole is open. Or pulse mode, emit a pulse every second while the black hole is open. I think this is what I want to do. And then set up a counter every time it actually responds here. So I'm going to get a signal from the bottom, which gets the signal from this guy. Right there. Because otherwise, static mode, I don't really know what to do with static mode because I don't know if it tells me, hey, it's unstable. And I want something to tell me it's unstable, which we can figure out the time if we just pay attention to that. Okay. And then what we'll do is go over here. So that signal is going to come from down there, I believe. Erase that. We'll have an input on the bottom. So this is going to be the utility hatch, and it's going to go into a counter. Yeah, real nerd stuff over here. Let me drink some tea while I think about this. You know, it's like I always say, it's a good thing that I studied digital logic design in undergrad school. So decrement, I'm going to have, well, actually the max, I want this to be, can you go to 60? Yes, you can. Can you go to 100? So without stabilization, I can get this to 100 seconds. And you can extend the life of the black hole if you give it space-time, but I'm not going to right for now. I just want the thing to work. Because I think it should be still pretty fast. I think how fast does it take to craft this? No, I may want to keep it enabled for longer, actually. Nah, I just want to. This is just going to be a proof of concept because adding the space-time part is a little more complicated. So we'll do 100 minus 1. The minus 1 is just to buy me an extra second, right? Just so I can think about it. I may need to decrease that though. But so the whole idea here is we have a signal that goes out there, right? And then I turn it on. That's not where you go. You have to go on the plus side, right? You go right here. And then another signal here to decrement it. But it's going to pulse. It's going to pulse up to 99 times. And then whenever it gets to 99, that's going to tell this whole system, hey, stop working. and then flip some kind of like latch or whatever to turn the whole thing down. And then the decrement, I have to increase it to 100. As much as possible, yeah. So the decrement just resets the whole thing. And there you go. So right now it's reset. And I'm going to have some kind of signal. I think it's honestly, even the counter signal to turn it back off. And then it also tells something else to work. But that's the counterpart. So I'm going to need some kind of way to push something in here. And one of the things I can do, honestly, is set up the recipe in a way that I send the black hole seed with all the other stuff, and then craft enough for that to be taken care of. Or have an automated way of sending items with a stalker, which is probably what I'm going to do. Yeah, we'll do that. So I'm going to have a stock over here. This one is going to connect to the main net, I think. Actually, do you also connect to a crafting buffer? Let me see here. Right here. What are you called? Radiation absorbing casing. Yeah, you totally work. I'll call this black hole. Singularities. It's basically just a neutronium compressor. Okay. And then I'm going to have the stock replenisher right there. And then a wireless connector right here. And also item output and input. Outputs actually. Output bus. And a hatch. What was I doing? Yeah, okay. Forgot about you. Queuing mode. Go ahead and connect you to something. We have a lot of wireless connectors all over the place, so I'll just do that. Okay, now this guy, I want this to have space-time. I'm not going to use it. Also give it a big 16384. I guess an item storage, right? It really doesn't matter. It can be anything. But we're going to give this space-time. I'm not going to set it up to have space-time yet. But it's just a start. I'm going to say we'll work off ingots, but I'm just going to have that much here. I'm also going to have the black hole seeds and collapser, and 64 is probably enough for now. It doesn't matter. And then have a subnet over here attached to a storage bus. I probably just need 8 channels to do this. So I'm gonna assume with 8 channels, because you really only need a way to put stuff in there. But just in case, give it its own controller. like that. You also need a fluid storage bus. And that's just for future proofing whenever I get this working. How much space time do I actually have in storage? And a little bit. Okay. All right. So this subnet now has a way to look at black hole seeds and black hole collapsers. And then I have to tell this system to actually push stuff in there. And I'm going to be using let's use a mini chest. No, baby chest. I like the Gregtech version a little better. Oh, yeah. And then we're going to have like an export bus there. Not fluid export bus, items. Oh, no, I was wondering where it was. I guess I don't have a recipe for it. Could have sworn I did. You go and ask 0. So I'm thinking here is that you're going to have redstone cards, and I'm only going to tell this at specific times to push the items that I want to push in there. You're going to be active with signal. Active with signal. Now, how can I make sure that only one item goes in there? That's the other question, the other concern. And I think we actually figured out that answer is with droppers, because droppers are actually pretty good to send one item at a time with the pulse, and I would like to have a pulse. Okay. And then we have export buses that go there, and then somewhere down the road I need to have like redstone signals that go there. So one side is going to be the black hole seeds, and then the other one is going to be the collapser. Now I would like it to be forced to only have one item in there, but I don't know how to do that. One thing I can do is have a export bus, but is there a card that forces just one item to be allowed in there? If not, it doesn't really matter because they're at some point they're going to get pretty cheap, and I can craft this in 9 stacks because I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Because I think how droppers work is that they do randomly. So if I have like, for example, just one stack of black hole seeds in there, it's going to choose one of these guys, and that's it. And I don't want it to do that. What I can do is use a limited item filter. Yeah, I can do that. So instead of import buses, you're going to be interfaces with item conduits. And I can save a channel by using just one interface. And use a limited item filter, 2 of them. Okay, so this guy is going to have the the black hole seed. You only need to store one. Sir, store one, thank you. And the collapser. And then insert here and have just one black hole seed. And over here, insert and have just one black hole collapser. Extract, always active. And there we go. So now there's only going to be one dude in here and that's it. Just in case, let's increase it to like one more, two, to avoid like any weird delays coming out of there. Probably doesn't need to be that much, but we'll do 2. Okay. And then the limited item filter will only allow just 2 of them to fit in there, and that's it. And then I need to pulse signals into here so to tell them to push into the baby chest. So this is what I want to do. Pulse mode. I do want this to be on pulse mode, and it turns on whenever I get a signal going. So where can I get the signal? I think I do want a machine controller. Is there such a thing as a wireless machine controller? I'm not sure, but I'm just going to put that guy up there. And I want this to be enabled with redstone. Because I do not want this thing to be active whenever other things are being worked on, right? And trying to think about it next. What is the next step? So we have a signal, we have the pulse going in there, and then whenever we do hit 100, that's when I want to send another pulse signal out. And I'll go ahead and send a bundled cable out because I can. Something like that, right? Let's have white to be the... Now we'll change the color here. We'll make light blue for the black hole seed. No, we'll make magenta for the black hole seed and then light blue for the collapser. Just to color code it a little bit. Okay. So pretty much whenever this hits 100, I want this to activate that line right here. So I'll just connect it now so that I don't forget about it. No. To the collapser. So that's going to tell this thing, hey, stop working, right? But I also want to be able to tell other things to not work. Right? I think I'm also going to need connections from here to tell this, hey, there's items in here. Only put a black hole whenever items show up here. So I do need an item detector cover. We'll do wireless item detector cover. This does not work. Oh, did I mess up something? Do you not accept the output hatches there? Or do you even accept output hatches at all? Oh, you don't? Okay, there's no item. There's no, okay, sorry. Get out of there. There's no fluid output. Okay. So yeah, for sure, I think I'm going to want a signal coming out of here, out of detector cover. If there's anything inside the buffer, at least I think that's how buffers work. If it detects items, it's going to kickstart the entire system, in other words. So if I detect something, or I'm going to have a latch that enables, I think. And that's going to be dictated by this signal on the left. We'll move it up a couple spots so that it's have more space to work with. So if it detects an item, we're going to trigger a latch, I think, that enables and stays on until there's items. But if another signal, like this one, turns on, then turn the latch off, right? Yes, I believe so. I always like this one so that I can actually tell. So if I get an item, it turns it on, and it stays on until I tell it, hey, turn off. Mm-hmm. Yes, okay. I will try that. Can also probably use pulses just so that I don't mess things up. And that's what I'm going to do. I like pulses. Pulses everywhere. Timing and clocks, pulse former. Go like that. Rotate. Okay. And so the idea is whenever I hit this thing, it tells the whole system to turn on, and then it stays on until I turn it off. It's at the default setting. It might not be. That's the default setting. Whenever I turn it on. No? I think it's like that, actually. Yes. Okay. Our SR latches are a little weird. You have to find the default setting and be comfortable with that, because whenever you build the circuit, that's the default setting is what it's going to have. Instead of me like messing with it and then I build the circuit, it's going to break. You got to watch out for that. And then another pulse former that goes into the other side. Okay. So this is the signal that basically tells the machine controller, hey, don't do anything. All right. And just for consistency's sake, I can also give this a bundled cable. I'm not going to. It's fine. Okay. So when do I turn it off? Whenever the counter reaches 60 or 100 seconds, whatever. Or 100 pulses, and technically 99 pulses, right? There's another issue that I have to work around at some point, and that is what happens when the recipe is running. There's some time for recipes to finish, right? So I also have to account for that. And honestly, what I'm trying to think here, is this a little complicated, or can I just like send enough stuff so that it completes the entire craft, and then I don't have to worry about it after that? No, I'm gonna try setting it up automated, because at some point we want more parallels and we have to do something like this. Yeah, we'll keep going. Okay. So whenever the signal activates, that tells this, hey, that is not working. Let me drink some water or some tea, actually. Think about this some more. Okay. It's a pretty tricky situation here. So this is the item detector. This signal right here, the one that tells it on, that's the one where I tell this guy, yes, I'm gonna have to make use of bundled cables in this case. I can pass wires over. Like that. So I guess I would just use white to tell this guy off. And then we can use light blue. Yeah, sure, we'll do that. And then this one is going to be magenta. I'll clean it up as we continue here, but kind of what I want to do, like that. So the signal that tells this guy to actually activate is going to be down here. This magenta signal. So whenever it activates, it's going to tell this guy, hey, I need you to push an item in there, and you're going to be a pulse former. Right, so if I tell this, hey, activate, it pulses to send one item into the thing, and this is going to stay on. Now this guy, this is going to be a continuous signal, which I think I have to tell the machine controller. After a small delay, the delay is there just so that I give it enough time for it to actually start. We'll give it like 2 seconds or something, honestly, because I don't know how long it takes for the machine to understand that there's a black hole in there. So I'll give it like a repeater. How much this is how much delay? I have no idea how long that is, but we'll just say that. And there we go. Okay. This is going to be output, and there we go. Okay. And then to debug this, I'm going to pretend that I got a signal down there. This one is going to be the white signal to tell this, hey, I stopped working, right? And I can do that with a... It's kind of hard to debug without breaking everything, but... Can I do this? Orange. Yes, okay. So, would like a debug cable. We'll put that out here. And a torch. So, let's say this is just simulating that I have the max counter. That's going to turn off my system. And then tell this thing to stop working. So that repeater delay is a little bit of a problem now that I think about it, because it's going to take a couple of seconds for this thing to turn off if there's still items in there, right? I think... how can I work around that? I think we'll figure it out whenever we get there. Okay. What else do we need? So right now it's as if this thing is going to be off, right? Is that it? Is that all I have to do, actually? I'm trying to look at this. I think that's all I have to do. What I can do to play test this is set the increment, or set the We can set the increment to like some big number for now, like 30. So it triggers like 4 times. And then I have a little debug lever over here. Use a button. Okay, so how the system is going to work is that it detects an item, right? There we go. Technically, items are always going to be there, so this thing is going to remain on. And then it already pulsed. It starts the counter, or the black hole seed. It also tells the machine to activate with the machine controller. That's what this signal is. That repeater probably has to get moved around somewhere. I'm not sure, but we'll figure it out. And then, crafting is happening just fine. And then, the pulse gate or this guy is going to be activating every so often, every time the second passes. And then when I have enough, one more time, it toggles the latch. So it tells this signal over here to pulse. It did pulse actually. And I realize there's no blue going in there actually. So how do I fix that? Make all of this blue. Just like that. So this tells the collapser to show up. And then I have to do something with that. Okay, so after the collapser shows up, and then I have to restart the system using this decrement counter over here. So this is just a repeater. I don't have enough space. Oops, sorry. I can make enough space by adding a bundle cable right over here. I connect the magenta wire over here. Like that. And then I have the repeater going into here. And then we'll do just 2 ticks for now because I don't really know what it's going to do. Is that facing the right way, actually? I honestly can't tell. Hang on. I think I just have to rotate it once. Yes. And then I get the light blue cable to come down like that. And there we go. So that reset the whole system. And then I still need a way for me to tell the system to start back up again. So I need another signal over here. Because this is not going to be a pulse. So what I can do is actually... get this signal right here, the one after the repeater, and tell that to go into the pulse former here. To basically restart the whole thing. I'm not sure that's going to work though. So let's restart it. So this is going to be on regardless, right? So right now it pulsed. It sent a black hole there. It also told the machine to start. And then we're going to count a little bit. And when we hit 100 seconds, it's going to send the collapser. It'll also restart the counter with this repeater over here. And at this point, the system stops. It dies because I don't have a way for this to activate again. So what happens when I give this a continuous signal? I don't think that will be a good idea, but I don't think that would be a good idea, no. But I need to see what happens. Okay. So what happens if I give it a continuous signal? It works, but there's still a question of the delay. Yeah, I think I just need another delay over here. Try it like that. Yes. Let's increase the delay, but just a little bit more. I'm just not really sure how the um how do I say it? How long it takes for the black hole stuff to show up in the system. Not exactly sure. Let's try a simple recipe. Let's try a recipe at least. Kernel singularity. Let's get you. And you're going to be like this. I will craft. Do I craft one at a time? Yeah, sure. I don't want to void too much. I'm probably going to be voiding stuff. So this thing is already powered at this point, so it can totally work. I just need to get it connected. Turn this off. Okay, here's the other issue. What happens when this thing turns off? This doesn't do anything. Because the latch stayed on. Which I think is expected though, because it's going to turn off in the middle of processing. All right. I think that's okay. We'll try it, see what happens. Okay, I forget how many connections I'm going to need for this, but let me look at it real fast. So, I guess what I can do is move this guy over up there. Put it along here. Right? Trying to think of like the neatest way to do this. It's not going to look very neat, honestly. Let's have red alloy wire right here. So for me to actually connect to that, I need the corresponding insulated wires. So light, blue, and magenta. Now I forget who you are. You're the collapser. Collapser is light blue. And then this is magenta. And then I need a bundled cable right here. Right there. And then the actual circuit. Because if I look at the schematic, that's up top. And then I need several connections elsewhere. So one in the bottom, So the one on the bottom is going to be this guy. And I guess I can put it up like that and then just connect it like that. So that's going to be you. And then the ones on the left and right facing that one, that's going to be a couple of frame boxes. So the one on the right is going to be the enabler, which is going to be a redstone transmitter. Advanced redstone transmitter. I'm also going to need a number for the redstone circuit. Advanced redstone transmitter. Do that right there. And then this guy is going to be a item detector, yes. So that is receiver external. Like that. And then I need a redstone receiver internal for the machine controller over there. This guy. This should not be a one of you. You should be you. Now, what signal should I give everything? Good question. Let me check here. I need a bunch of random numbers for this. Two, 5, 8. 258 works. So you're 258. And then 259. Works. So this guy is connected to the item input bus on circuit 259 if it detects anything. And then you are going to be connected to 258. It says it's powered, and I have no idea why. You're not supposed to be powered. You're not doing anything. At a standstill, you're supposed to just be chilling. So why are you trying to plug yourself in? What is this? A private frequency, right? Why is that powered? I have to check the setup up here. It usually has to do with the default latch setting. I think this is how I want to set it up. No, it's like this. Oh, and also you should be set to the increment to 1. Decrement 99, yeah. Does that work? Try making another circuit here. It should be the exact same thing. This should not be powered at all, though. And my chunk loaded as well. Just in case. Why do you turn on? Turning on for whatever reason. Is there an item in here? Oh wait, it might be considering that item as an input. Yeah, it is. Okay. So crafting buffers don't work. That's what it is. Okay, so it seems like it works. It detects the item, but it tries to actually craft. So I'm going to have it like not built, just so I can play test the input. So I'm going to go ahead and put a wireless hub over like down here. Connect right there. And color this blue for subnet and a wireless connector. And we'll put that guy right here. That's also blue. Okay. Okay, so we have the right kind of stuff in there. So the idea here is what I wanted to do is whenever I place it, it doesn't do anything, right? Obviously. But whenever it detects an item, yeah, that's when I wanted to start working. But if it detects a singularity or the pattern, doesn't seem like it pulses or what? Or did I break it already? What? Oh, what happened? Get this out of here. It should have worked. Should have done something different, at least. No? The heck happened? It probably got messed up. I don't know if it saves its state if you break it, but let me start from scratch. Okay, it does save its state. Okay. So if it did, pretend that that pattern is an item. Yeah, it pushed an item there, and then I just need a conveyor to pull the item. Okay, just put it back in storage. So that works, right? Other kind of debug signal that I can give is pulsing this 100 times. So I'm not going to be here and like click on 100 times. I'm not going to do that. But I imagine that it'll work. So it looks like I just have to reset this guy. And if I want to get this working, I have to delete it and then just put a new one in there. Okay, but the crafting buffer is not going to work because it's detecting the pattern, and I wanted to detect items on the inside. Let me see if someone figured this out on the Discord. So item detector crib buffer. Man, I hate Discord search feature. Crafting buffer. Crafting input buffer. It's not gonna. It's not gonna find it. This probably is something we're gonna have to figure out ourselves, honestly. Or commit to stocking. That's probably the best bet. I'm trying to think of another way. I just need a way to determine that there's actually items in here. Transfers item amount as redstone wirelessly. Can only connect with. How do I do this? The other option is to check for slot. Yeah, detect slot number. I'm not too sure, actually. This is going to take some weird digging into. The other option is, well, I don't even know if there's another option. What other detect options do we have? Mm-hmm. I'm not actually sure. This is an interesting question, though. I never really thought that this would be a problem. Trying to think here. What else can we do here? Because the long solution is just to set up like a what do you call it? Item. Oh, you know what? This is also a problem because to detect fluids, right? So is it able to detect fluids? Let's try this. Because if I look at all the items over here for like the eternal singularity, this thing doesn't even have any items in there in the recipe. But at some point, psychotic singularity. Yeah, this is going to. Yeah, I think. This is okay. At this point, I'm just curious. I want to see if it's able to detect the fluid. So this is a 259. It's a circuit. If I set up U to be 259, like that, right? And then if I place a new guy down, this should not be working. You're not going to do anything. But what if I request a singularity? Oh, come on, start. Yeah, craft me my space-time, please. Oh, yeah. I like it when it crafts my space-time. All four of them. Nice. Parallel maxing. How long does it take, though? 20 seconds? How dare you? Yeah, we really need to get these eternal singularities going. I would like to get this set up so that I can craft the rest of them overnight to get the eternal coils going. It's going to be a huge bonus. Okay, so it has stuff in there, right? It has molten space-time now. It does not detect. So it's not very smart. It doesn't really... these covers aren't able to detect internal like stuff inside the ME system. Probably because it's directly connected to the system. So I don't really know how to detect when there's items in there, other than just using a different solution for item storage. So here's a question. If I have a stocking hatch, for example, let's go ahead and set up a stocking hatch here. Put that right there. And I tell this to just pull. It has fluid now, right? If I give this like a detector, fluid detector cover, we'll use a regular one. I just want to see if it's able to detect that there's fluids in there. No, it doesn't. It's so weird. So how do I detect it if there's fluids in there? The only thing I can think about is using whenever I push items to use one of those input output sort of things. And I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Yeah. So let's try that. In other words, we're going to use a super bus. At some point, there is going to be items. We'll use one of these UHV ones while I'm here. And a... what do you call it? Is there such a thing as a super hatch? Isn't there like a giant hatch? Humongous input hatch. That's not happening. Never mind. What about a UIV? It's not impossible. We'll do UIV because I can. Circuit S machine, circuit 1. It might take us a little bit. No, that's a UIV recipe, so never mind. Never mind. We'll use a UEV one. Unless I already have this as a recipe. No, I don't. Oops. I broke it. I don't know what to do with this, so I'm just going to trash it. Get out of here. I don't want to deal with you. Okay. Is that a quest achievement? Nope. And then a super bus. So I need to configure this just a little bit. It's going to be using one of those older setups that I used to do. And honestly, tell you what, I think I'm just going to connect it over here. It's a little easier to deal with. Yeah. Okay. So this is going to be a regular dude. And then connect another wireless connector. 2 of them. And then I'll have the inputs over here. Like that. And then do the classic relay and fluid setup that we used to do all the time. And then have a dual interface. And then I'll call this black hole singularity. Yeah, sure. And then connect the wireless connectors over there. Queuing mode activated. Go from here to there. Just like that. And then I'll put the pattern there. So the idea here is if I have a detector cover, wireless, now I would use simple here. Fluid detector cover. It's one in my hand, right? Yeah. And then a Redstone transmitter. Redstone transmitter external in a frame box. Is this needlessly complicated? Yeah, probably. There we go. So that's where the signal is going to come from. Because now we should be able to detect that there's fluids in there. And that signal is going to show up here. At least I hope it does. So what happens when I craft another singularity? Do I try it? Do I dare try it? Yeah, I'm very curious actually. Okay, so this thing isn't really going to turn on. So what happens if I try to craft a singularity here? Should probably bookmark it so I don't lose it, because yeah, I don't want to search for it every time. Okay, so you have the signal now. So I think I already voided the stuff because this is enabled. And I think I deleted it because I didn't tell this thing to push, or what. No valid recipe found. So is it not able to start without a black hole? Because that's something else that we can take advantage of. But this needs a conveyor. It's a little bit too strong. We only need one stack every tick. One stack every tick is IV. Important. All right. Pulls a black hole. It activates for a little bit. Okay, good thing none of that gets destroyed. I did not think about that, honestly. No crafting recipe found. Why not? You literally have space time. Oh, because I didn't set up the correct mode, right? This should be on. Oh, what kind of circuit do you need? Use circuit 20 for compressor and circuit 21 for neutronium. So you need a program circuit 21. Get over here. Oh, in that case, I can totally just use one. Yeah, I can totally just use one, but just give this a certain circuit. And I can even use colored hatches so that it points to the correct thing, right? All right, that's going to take 20 seconds, but yeah, we are able to craft singularities now. So what I'm interested to see is whenever it hits 99 whatever, that this is going to send this one. And then to see what happens whenever the recipe, I'm pretty sure the recipe finished, by the way, yeah. So here we have to wait 10 more seconds or so, and then what happens is it going to deactivate that? Probably not. I don't know. We'll wait. Black hole unstable. So it did not. It was supposed to turn it off, but you didn't do it in time. Okay, so clearly it's not disabling the black hole in time. It should have turned it off at this point. Oh. No, it's on pulse mode. Unless the signal messed up here. Something broke. Why would that be permanently on? It's not supposed to be on unless that's just what it does on pulse mode. I'm not actually sure what happens whenever it turns off. Hang on. Let's try again. I think I'm just going to force feed. We're going to wait for it to restart, honestly. Because it should have worked correctly, but it's not. It's waiting for this thing to tick. I think I messed it up because I had it. I honestly can't tell you what happened. I don't know what happened. Should be okay though. So this is what happened, right? It detects an item, right? It tells this thing to turn on the controller. It also fed a black hole, and then this thing should have been working for like however many ticks. Max 99, increment 1, decrement 99. That should be fine. So this one over here, this is the one that is telling this whole system, hey, keep ticking. Right. And once it gets to 100, basically just disable everything here. Yeah, that should work. I don't know why it didn't work. You fear the stage of the game. It's puzzle solving. It's not that bad because the easy way out is just to look up a solution. But I'm very picky with stuff like that. I like to solve it myself. It's a puzzle, and I like puzzles. I don't really know what happened though when it came to this. Like, why is this still pulsing? This should have pulsed enough times. So I think what I'm going to do is restart the system. Break you. And then manually feed a collapser. There we go. Now I need you to turn on for just a little bit longer. Okay. So it really is. And I think the most important part of figuring it out yourself is that you know where to look if it doesn't work. That's my main focus here. If it breaks, I know I have a better idea of where to look at it. Plus, it's also been it's been a thing that sometimes online setups don't really work correctly all the time, and that's okay, right? That stuff like that happens. But I just like to figure it out myself. It's pretty fun to set up. I like the challenge. So I still have a couple of those guys here. All right. So we'll try it again. I don't really know what happened. Something happened where this stayed on consistently, and based on the design, it should not. And I have no idea why. So I'm going to reset it like that. Yes, it's reset right here. And this is going to simulate the counter. So whatever happened, it kept this thing on. So I'm going to try this out here. Increment by 40. So it ticks like 3 times. So we're going to simulate it running again so I can figure out what went. I can't say it. What went wrong? There's too many W's there. So this corresponds to, hey, I detected an item right over there, right here. You know, it tells the whole system. It tells this over here to send a black hole, whatever, a black hole seed, and then the machine is going to start sending pulses through the utility hatch down here, which is based on this. So we tick, and then on the third one, which corresponds to 100 ticks, tell the system to stop working for a little bit. Send one of these guys, and then send another guy. And basically keep doing that until this turns off. All right, so it's going to keep doing that until it stops detecting an item on the input. And then it resets everything. So why didn't you work before? No idea. Let's try it again. It probably got messed up also because I started the recipe very late. Okay, so it detected the item. It should have pushed a black hole in there. Black hole seed. Oh, why did the collapser go in there? I might have messed it up already. Okay, well, there's a black hole, whatever, and then we have a singularity in there. It takes 20 seconds to craft, right? But the black hole is going to remain open. So another way to go around this is just to set up enough so that it doesn't, how do I say it? Set up enough like recipe input so that the black hole remains open for the entire time. This way I don't have it being wasteful. But what I expect is that this thing is going to shut off after so many ticks. And let me check here if I have a scanners in my hand. The other option is to reduce the counter, which may be what I have to do. So right now it's enabled, which is fine because there's something in there. Let's just see what happens whenever it runs out of stability. The other option is also to reduce the amount of stability I see right here, this counter here. Because right now it's at 99, maybe that's too much. Maybe it doesn't even get to 99. No, it worked. It worked. But you see there is an instant that it got, that it was unstable. I don't want that. So I'm just going to reduce the timer. So this counter here, reduce it by like 90. So the most ideal way to deal with all the, what do you call it? We'll do 80. The most parallels is to keep it above 60. So I could totally move this to like 40 or something like that, or even 30. But I don't want to craft too much stuff, so we'll do 80 for now. I guess we'll try that. And I guess I can say again to anybody else who is feeling discouraged by seeing a late game player, I don't know what I'm doing either. And I'm just a dude. If I can figure it out, you can too. We all have to learn somehow. Every late game player has had to learn the hard way. But we're a late game player because we like nonsense like this. So there's got to be something fun about it. Try again. So this is pretty much the same circuit, except it's Why did you post twice? Why do you keep posting? You're posting constantly. That's not good. All right, stop it. Posting constantly, and I don't know why. You just need one, and that's it. Did it finish the recipe though? It actually did. It's funny. Okay. It's something to do with the latch. Every time I move the latch around, it starts breaking everything. Oops. I don't know what it is. Oh, it's because of this. That's why. My bad. I forgot to put this back down to 1. Yeah, that'll do it. Double check. 80. Uh-huh. Increment 1. Yes. Do it. Try it again. Okay, we opened it. There's no excess anything in there. And the idea is that at 80 seconds or so, it's going to turn off that guy. Now, one thing I have to tweak is what happens when there's continuous recipes going in there. That's something I haven't figured out yet. Right now, I just want it to work for one. It's very wasteful to do it like this. You want many items in there at once. But I just want to, this is the first step, right? Take baby steps. I'm going to have to tweak this, though, to account for multiple items. Like continuous runtime and telling this thing, hey, don't run if there's no black hole. That's tricky. Which honestly I can do with another black hole utility hatch. I didn't think about that. I can have 2 black hole utility hatches. And maybe that's why there's that second setting, the static mode. And that one I can just straight up send. Oh yeah, I can do that. I can simplify the circuit and just have that signal getting sent directly into a machine controller, which tells it, hey, don't run if there's no black hole. That's literally it. Oh, yeah, I can do that. So it should have turned off by now, and it didn't turn off. I broke it. Oh, no, it's on. Oh, okay. Yeah. The machine controller is off at this point. So if that's like that, then this is never going to get a signal. Okay. Turn it off like that and then restart. Okay, let's simplify this a little bit. I have an idea. Let's simplify the signal a little bit. I'm committed to this. It might just be a longer stream until I can figure this out. Crafting another one of these dudes, that's going to take a while, but we'll come back to that. So the idea here is to set up a machine controller. Connected directly like that. And then enable with redstone, and then I'm going to have a utility hatch here that goes directly like that. Yeah. And this utility hatch is the one that tells this system, hey, there's a black hole that's running. So 2 utility hatches. And then the other one to... Actually, does it allow more than one? Here's hoping that it allows more than one. A lot of it is just materials crafting, which I don't think is going to take that long. Motors and sensors might take a while, though, but we do have a shared inputs for that. Well, that's crafting. Let's work on a little bit more circuit design. So this signal does not need to exist. We don't care about this. This is the one that was supposed to tell that guy to power up, but we don't need it. So this repeater is still very much wanted. So let's debug this again. Increment to 40, like that. So pretend an item is in there. It tells this thing to power up, right? And then we increment for a little bit. And then it sends one of you. And I think what I need to do is actually increase this delay. Just by a little bit. We increment, send an item, and then reset the counter. So I don't think I need this repeater. Because this repeater's already there. I don't think I need that repeater. So increment, pulses, sends an item out, and then it resets the counter. Oh, you see how it does that weird double time. Oh no, it's fine because we have a pulse gate at the output, so it's okay. Also, why are the pulse gates facing the wrong way? Oh, because one's powered, one's not, duh. So whenever it hits a certain number, it pulses, gets reset, and then it tells us. Now, I think what happened was that somewhere in the middle, whenever it actually turned off, it broke. No, it should be fine. You know what I think burning? I'm scared to answer that. Is it your birthday today? Unk. Happy birthday. No, I'm not going to play Terraria. It's a little late. And I'm fried right now. I'm sure you've seen what I'm doing over here. I'm a little fried. Let's replace this with a red alloy cable. Now I can afford to do that. And then... No, but happy birthday. How old are you? If it's okay with me, you don't have to answer. If it's okay with you, I mean. I know we talked about it before. It's been a while though. So transmitter, we don't need to transmit. This one is to detect if there's items in, so we don't need this guy anymore. Also, I forgot to reset the signals again, so that's not going to work either. Get rid of all of these guys. Get out of here. Where's my schematic? Right here. I always forget to set the decrement down to 1. Then you know what? Let's just do a good practice right now. And set up the... We'll do 50. Let's do that. Just so that it's a little easier for me to detect when things are going to happen. In decrement 99, increment 1. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so we got it. Here's hoping that it actually works with more than one, because I don't know. Yes, it does. I mean, it looks like it connected. Yes. Now this guy is going to be, by default, static mode. Oops. Like that. Okay, and this one is pretty much just going to wait for the black hole to be active, and then it tells that black hole utility hatch to power up, which tells the controller to work and actually start the craft. And this guy over here, make sure the black holes are out of here. This guy over here is going to... And you know what? Just for consistency's sake, I'm going to reduce this by 1. Oops, I broke it. By 1, yeah. By 1. I only want one of them in there. Thank you. I also need to level maintain those guys. Okay. There we go. This signal is the one that detects that there's items inside. Do I dare try it again? Let's see what happens, right? Let's see what happens. Make another singularity. It's actually a very fast way to craft singularities. I have 4 by accident already. Detects the items, and then it should have put a black hole in there. What happened? Oh, you know what? It's never going to turn on because it's waiting for this to detect a black hole. But how is it going to activate if it never sees the signal? Okay, hang on. This is not going to work either. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We have to configure the circuit still. Not gate with the pulse. All right. Mm-mm. Trying to think here. Actually, we still may want a connection, but I can also see if this is just temporary. If it detects an item, then turn it on. But keep that as a pulse gate. Pulse gate, yeah. I'm probably just gonna add this to this signal anyways. Let's just do that for now. Oh, that's not gonna work. It's gonna look atrocious, but I need to do it like this for now. There's a signal of 1, right? No, I need to add something to it. No, we have to add to the signal. You obviously don't want it to work if there's nothing in there. But if it detects an item, then yes. But only if it detects a black hole seed. So I think we still have to connect it to this signal here. So whenever I detect an item, right? But getting one of these signals. Let me take a look at my circuit here. So this signal, whenever it actually pushes an item, that's the one I want to tell this guy to activate. So I'm going to set up the delay to be like every second, and then add a wire from here all the way over there. But it needs to be a pulse gate because I don't want this thing to be running nonstop. After that, it's going to solely rely on a black hole being on. Well, if it detects an item, I mean, at that point, it's the same thing as I was doing, right? Which signal turns on for just one time? This is a cool challenge. I like this. My only concern is that if I connect it right here, to whatever this is, it's essentially doing the exact same thing I was doing before, and that's not really what I wanted to do. Hmm. I still need to make this activate, right? I'm kind of curious. What's the point of static mode in that case? I can also have a like a this can also be connected to a latch, I think. That if a black hole is not running, then don't use the machine. I don't think this is gonna do anything. I'm just gonna leave it here. No, I think we're just connected to the same system I was doing before. I would like to connect it to something else, but no, I'm just gonna do it like this. So there's already a pulse gate coming out of there, so I don't need to connect it. So you can actually just be a receiver here. Oh, you turned on. How dare you? I was actually just waiting for it. Okay, so this one's going to be 258. Actually, no, 260. We'll do 260. And then I'm going to have a signal that comes off of this guy. Transmitter. 260, like that. But that pulse may not be enough, so maybe have like a... one tick delay and maybe I may have to come back to this, but it seems like if I can figure out that challenge thing, then it's going to come back. This isn't even connected to anything, so it's not going to work out. I like how it looks though. Okay, this is probably where I'm gonna leave it for tonight. Go ahead and sand one of these guys down there. Okay, and yeah, we'll leave it here for tonight. It's good. It's already midnight. Again, I gotta get some rest. Turn on for a couple seconds to turn off the black hole. It'll collapse eventually, but I'm gonna really look into this tomorrow. Try to plan for how to fix this. And then we'll come back on Friday, actually. So there won't be a stream tomorrow. I actually have a job interview on Friday. And I kind of need the time tomorrow to like mentally prepare for it. And also to prepare for it in terms of like a haircut, clothes, and all that fun stuff. So no stream tomorrow, but I will be taking a look at this still. Try to figure this out. And clean it up, get it ready for crafting my eternal singularities. If I can figure it out in time, I am going to set up the recipe for the eternal coils. This is a major thing next, aside from the, to get the DTPFs upgraded. I can absolutely use those. We'll figure this out. But it looks like with a different circuit, I could totally set up the regular compressor into here as well. And I'm going to do that using like colored hatches and whatnot. We'll use colored hatches to tell this guy to only look at a certain signal. So I'll set that up off camera, but pretty cool multi-block. I like the little gimmick it has. I might just be overcomplicating it, but it is a little late, so I tend to do stuff like that. But after a good night's sleep, you'll be surprised how much more thinking you can do. Anyway, so go ahead and call it here for tonight. I will be back on Friday night if I don't end up like staying out of town. There's a chance I might. But see you guys Friday if not. Take care. Have a good night. Happy birthday again to Demonic. Have a good night. Take care, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. I don't think I didn't see that. Thanks for the follow, Freaky. All right, see you guys.